Hello and welcome to another Thoughts Corner. Today, this is kind of like maybe like an answering to a video I had seen. It was Count Blogeroth. He was doing like a response video to Black Metal Werewolf. And I'm doing this video not really so much as to get into the same debate, but the thing that I had seen was that there was a lot of like points being thrown as to you can't say this subgenre sucks or that subgenre sucks because of, you know, it's in that subgenre, or because there are good bands in certain subgenres. And I totally concur. You know, the thing that I find sucks about, you know, this day and age is there's so many subgenres. Like you could literally go on for days just looking at how many subgenres there are out there, and subgenres within subgenres and little subgenres within those subgenres. Like it's gotten way out of hand. One of the things that Count Blogeroth had mentioned was that he was really into Zao, and growing up in Pennsylvania, Zao was like the hometown heroes. You know, they were the heaviest of the heavy, and we were very proud of that. And now, you know, today, I guess they get thrown in with this hardcore, deathcore kind of subgenre, which really kind of made me a little interested, because when I was growing up, there weren't like subgenres like that. It was just Zao, and they are a heavy Christian band. You know, I mean, at least at the time they were Christian. Nowadays, you know, I believe they've kind of moved away from that. And I remember how influential they were just on, you know, multiple bands. You know, even listening to Converge's Jane Doe, you know, I could hear shades of Zao all over that album. But I mean, hardcore in general, you know, is a genre or subgenre, you know, that has touched so many different bands and just all forms of heavy. But what I really wanted to say was, I think the problem is, you know, why a lot of people, that genre sucks, or that genre sucks, or that subgenre sucks, you know, they're not heavy, they're not good, is that we take all these bands and we put them into these small little subgenres or genres in general, and it kind of like destroys the actual art of listening to music, you know, with all these subgenres. Yeah, subgenring is good. Making genres is good, you know, because you can find bands that you like, you know, within that thing. You know, it's easier to categorize and say to fellow, you know, music lovers or metal lovers, you know, hey, you know, there's this new folk black metal band out there, you know, I know you're into that sort of stuff, you know, as opposed to saying like, hey, there's a new black metal band. Okay, I like, what band do they like? You know, you could instantly say, you know, it's folk black metal. Whereas back, you know, when I grew up listening and starting out in that thing, you know, in the 90s, you know, it was only, hey, you know, that's black metal, and you had to sift through mounds and mounds of black metal to find something that you would actually like, you know, or somebody would, you know. I think that's where it came from, being on all these forums such as, you know, Lost Souls Domain and, you know, Stone Rock, you know, .com or whatever. You know, people would kind of instantly add in all these little subgenres to help people categorize things out. But in the end, it kind of really hurts us, because the thing of it is like, especially with deathcore and, you know, hardcore and whatever else you want to throw in there, is that I feel as though people instantly kind of think of it as, you know, that's emo music, and nobody likes emo music. And that's kind of what happened maybe, you know, at the turn of the 2010, 2012 was or 2000, no, not 2010, 2012, probably around 2008, right around the time I was graduating, was, you know, all these bands were getting, you know, they were heavy and they were getting lumped in with other bands. You know, Whitechapel, probably back in the day, would have just been a regular death metal band. But because they had all these influences, they kind of, you know, they went on a couple of more famous tours. I think maybe it was Warped Tour and all that. But they kind of got lumped in with all those emo, power violence kind of things. And all those subgenres don't make any sense. If it's a band that sucks, that's heavy, why not just say, hey, they're off in the emo category, or they're off in this category, or why not just say they suck? They're just not good. Why instantly say that all of one subgenre sucks? You know, it doesn't make any sense. And that's where the subgenres come to hurt us in the end, is that through all these little subgenres, if you don't like it, instantly it sucks. Whereas back in the day, like Zao, it was just a heavy band. You know, it was just a good, heavy band. And I think that really, like, is our faults, not only as fans, but also the musicians themselves, you know, coming out and saying, well, we're this or we're that. You know, I had seen another video where it was Black Metal Werewolf, you know, he was saying, well, Amon Amarth, you know, they're really melodic death metal. You know, you don't make a genre about a certain thing. You know, if I made an album dedicated to computers, am I automatically computer metal? No, you wouldn't be, would you? You know, it's just like Fear Factory. Fear Factory has a ton of different stuff going on, but they're always gonna be death metal, you know, at the end of the day. Or Bathory's another good one. You know, they had a lot of Viking themes. Would I say it's Viking metal? Yeah, it probably would be a lot easier to say, yeah, that's Viking metal. Well, some of it. But at the end of the day, it's black metal. So, yet again, with all the confusing cross subgenre text and all this crazy stuff, I mean, I think that is the real problem, is that we lump so many bands in all these little subcategories and genres, and it doesn't make any sense. We should really just go around saying, like, hey, there's a really great heavy band. If you're really into heavy stuff, that's it. You know, but to say any band sucks because of any like genre classification, that doesn't really make any sense either, because there's so many great bands out there. It really, you know, takes to listen to a band and be like, well, that was great. You know, if you're looking at it from a standpoint of, hey, they're in this genre, it must suck. What? That really makes no sense. Did you listen to it? No. Then that doesn't make any sense. Why would it suck if you never listened to it? Which, in all honesty, is another thing that happens so much these days, is people don't actually listen to things. They just instantly, that sucks, because it is what it is. I never listened to it, I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure it sucks. And that's pretty horrible. You know, there's so much great heavy music out there, and music in general, that we kind of like put up these walls and barriers for, even though it's great music. You know, if you opened up your mind to it, it would actually be really, really good. Luckily enough, you know, all these records behind me and the masses over there, it's almost every genre. If it's good to me, it's good. If it's not, sometimes I even buy it. You know, I'll lend it out to a friend later on. You know, but the thing is, with music, and especially in the metal community, they don't have open minds to be into all these different subgenres. They instantly find that little subgenre they really like, and that's what they want to stick to, which is a millennial thing. I think personally is a millennial kind of, you know, way of viewing music. If you talk to any metalhead, you know, before the 90s, you know, they love so much different music, and they would love anything hard rock from the 70s on till now. They sift through the music. Whereas, you know, nowadays it's so instant with this millennial kind of thinking that it's easier to take that little subgenre that you know you like and stick within it because you're too lazy to go out and listen to the overall huge stream of music. And it's sad because there's so much great music out there, and especially in the metal community, there's so much great stuff, but you're not listening to it because you're staying in that little subgenre bubble. So I could see Bloggerot's point, but while watching that video, I seen that little thing. There's so many subgenres. You can't say they all suck. Well, why not just make it easy and say, well, it's a heavy metal band and I love it. You know, let's break out of that little mold of, hey, there's a ton of different subgenres. For what reason? You know, honestly, when Amon Amarth came out, there were albums by Fear Factory and Napalm Death and all sorts of different death metal bands that I was listening to. I never went as far as to say, hey, they're Viking metal. Well, why? What would be the point? It was all just heavy metal music to me at that time. It was just like, you know, I would put on Candlemass and then 2 minutes later be listening to Severe Torture. You know, you can't subcategorize because instantly it's like it's just like, well, do you vote Democrat or Republican? No, I hate Republicans. I hate Democrats. Why? Because it's categorized. You instantly don't like what's on the other side because it seems like there's a wall there. But we put up the walls. We invented all these little subgenres, and that's what we stick to. So I think really at the end of the day, it comes down to just being into heavy music and enjoying it and spreading it around. No band really sucks, to be completely honest. It's all, well, what we want to hear and what we want to enjoy. That's why, I mean, personally, if you watch any of my videos, I never put down on a band. If I do a review of them, I never put down on any band or any music because somewhere, someone out there will enjoy that kind of music. I mean, obviously, if people buy, you know, Charles Manson records and they, you know, aren't the best music out there. You know, Captain Beefheart is another perfect example. Captain Beefheart is out there. You know, that music is crazy, but people enjoy it and love it. So you can never put down on a band and say they suck because obviously there's going to be a million people that will disagree with you at some point. So why not just say, hey, I'm just not into them? That would be the easier way to go. Or, you know, spread heavy metal music around by saying they're a really heavy band, you're really gonna like them. And then say, well, they have folky influences, you know, I know you're into that kind of thing. That would honestly be the easiest way to go about anything within this sub-genre classification. So, and that's my thoughts on genres. Bye-bye.